What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Quidsville Sports. And Tennessee is currently losing to Indiana 22-9. Hopefully that can change. But today we're going to be making our NFL playoff picks. I know you guys have asked for this. I haven't done an NFL video in a while because college football has been my main focus. I think college football is way better than the NFL. But we will be making our NFL picks, and I will be making videos and streams throughout the NFL postseason. So, without further ado, let's get into the picks. We're going to start with the NFC first. Alright, so the first game we are going to predict is the Vikings and Saints. Now, I'll tell you, this is how good the Saints are, okay? I'm a Bears fan. The Saints embarrassed the Bears at Soldier Field with their backup quarterback, backup running back, and backup defensive tackle. That is how good and here's another little kicker for you. The Bears beat the Vikings twice this year. So, all signs point to the Saints. The Vikings are not going to come in here not prepared. I feel like the Vikings will put up a good game. I just think that in the Superdome it'll just be too much. So I am going to be taking the Saints in this game. Now we have Seattle traveling out to play Philadelphia. Now, Seattle, I feel like they're coming into this game with some negative energy. They had their chance to win the NFC West. They had their chance to get that number 1 seed, and they came up not even a yard short, like a foot short. That was an amazing game. I think that they will have some negative energy around their team, whereas the Eagles are coming in with some positive energy after winning that game. And I have a little thing that I just like to use, and I say you never bet against a home team. And I feel like, do you guys remember, since we're talking about the Seahawks, do you guys remember when LaShawn McCoy had that crazy run where he shoved off like 8 Saints players? That big beast mode run? Well, the year that the Seahawks made the playoffs that year, they were 7-9 and won that game. This Eagles team is way better than that Seahawks team, if you ask me. Wentz is for real. If their defense could play well and if they could hold Seattle's passing game to not that many yards, I think the Eagles can pull off an upset. And that's what I'm going to go with. I actually really like the Eagles' chances in this game, and I think they pull off an upset at home. The Eagles crowd will be rocking, and they will be in full support of them. I think they ride the momentum off that home crowd, and they get this win. I just say you can never bet against a home team. That's just what I have to say. I mean, if you're actually putting money on a game or whatever. So now we'll stick with the Eagles, and they travel to San Francisco to play the Niners. Now, last year, the Eagles traveled to the Superdome to play the Saints, and they actually did not play badly in that game. They actually jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and they were able to, they were actually able to put some pressure on the Saints early, but the Saints were just too much. I think a similar thing could happen in this game. Because you got to remember, the Eagles were 9-7 last year, and they beat the Bears. Cody Parkey, you son of a biatch. But I think that, oh my God, Tennessee recovered an onside kick. That is crazy. Tennessee just recovered an onside kick. But I think that the 49ers will eventually win this game. It'll be very similar to the Saints game last year. But I think the Eagles will jump out to a good start, but I think the 49ers will just eventually just be too much. So lastly, before we get to the NFC Championship game, we have the Packers and Saints. Now, similar to what I said about Seattle traveling to Philly to the cold weather, the Saints will have to do so in, the Saints will have to do so going to Green Bay. I think the Saints are a way better team than the Seahawks. Or I do think the Packers are better than the Eagles. Actually, the Eagles did beat the Packers. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think that the Saints are better prepared to win this game than I think the Seahawks would be to beat the Eagles. I don't think the Packers are as good as their second seed says they are. I think they beat the Redskins by, 5? They struggled against the Lions, although that was the last week of the season. Take that with a grain of salt. They lost to the Eagles earlier in the season, as I said. I don't know. I think the Saints are a better team. I think I don't know. Aaron Jones has had a hell of a year. I think Breeze is better than Rodgers, if you ask me. I like the Saints defense a little bit more than I like the Packers defense. I just think the Saints are probably probably the best team besides the 49ers. That's the way they're playing right now. I like the Saints and what they've been cooking. This is definitely not because I'm a Bears fan. But I'm going to take the Saints to win this game. So the NFC Championship will pitch the San Francisco 49ers against the New Orleans Saints. Now, the San Francisco 49ers won this game in a thriller earlier in the regular season at the Superdome. Both offenses came to play in a big way that game. Both defenses didn't get off the plane. So, what will happen in this game? Playoff football, defenses tend to thrive a bit more. I feel like defense wins championships. So I feel like defense comes up more in the playoffs. Tennessee just scored a touchdown to go up 23. Or they tied it 22-22, and an extra point will give them the lead. I told you at the beginning of the video, Tennessee was down 22-9. They scored, got an onside kick, and scored again. That's crazy. What a game. Anyway, back to the NFL. I think that the 49ers won this game, but it's going to come down to which defense plays better. And if you ask me, the 49ers defense is a lot better. I mean, Richard Sherman, Nick Bosa, those guys are for real. And there are a bunch of guys I'm leaving out. But I think that this defense is for real. I think they are going to have to come to play here. And I think they do. I think that the 49ers are going to be your representative from the NFC in Super Bowl 54 in Miami. So, that's what I think they just barely outlast the Saints. And I mean, this is such a competitive division. The Seahawks could win it. The Saints could win. Any team in the NFC, I think, has a great chance to win. Oh no, Indiana just got a huge pass play. This is going to come down to the wire. But anyway, let's go on to the AFC side of things. We will start with Patriots-Titans. Now, I want to pick the Titans. They're rolling with momentum. And the Patriots did lose to the Dolphins, and they lost on a number 1 seed. But I just don't think you could pick against the Patriots. This is the first time this decade, and yeah, I know it's 2020, it's technically a new decade, but it's considered the 2019 season. Please don't kill me. But first time this decade that the Patriots will not have a number 1 or 2 seed. I think they still get it done at Foxborough. That's really just the toughest place to play in the playoffs. I think that the Patriots will prevail there. Now, we have the Bills, and probably one of, if not the best defense in football, traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. And Deshaun Watson and a dynamic offense there with Nuke Hopkins and Will Fuller. I think that this could be a very competitive game. But like I said, in the playoffs, it's defense that wins you games. Defense wins championships, and I think that the Bills' defense comes to play in a big way. Their offense scores just enough points to win, and I'm going to take the Bills to win this game at Houston. All right, now we will go to Bills and Ravens. Indiana's kicker is kicking a field goal to take the lead with 2 minutes left. But Bills and Ravens, I think that this one is pretty obvious. While the Bills do have their amazing defense going to Baltimore, I do think that Lamar Jackson will just be too much. And he missed it! Tennessee's probably going to hold on to win this game. Indiana just missed a field goal to take the lead. Wow, dude. What a comeback win for Tennessee. Man, you know what? This team started 1. I'm sorry, I'm taking a break for the NFL for a bit. This team started 1-4. Went 6-1 to end the season, and now they're going to win the Gator Bowl. A pretty big bowl. Like, the Gator Bowl is... You're proud to get invited to the Gator Bowl. Anyway, great win for Tennessee. Congrats to Jeremy Pruitt and crew. They're going to be pretty good next year. They have the number 8 ranked QB coming in as a freshman. Just thought I'd say that. Anyway, back to Bills and Ravens. I think that Lamar Jackson is just going to be too much for this Bills defense. And, I mean, the option is so hard to defend against. Mark Ingram's going to get his yards. Marquise Brown has absolute burners, dude. This man can fly. Marquise Brown is just on another level when it comes to speed. I think the Ravens end up getting this win at what's it, M&T Bank Stadium? Yeah, I think the Ravens get this win. Okay, so now we have Chiefs and Patriots, a rematch from last year, where who did I pick last year? Oh, I had the Chargers beating the Patriots, and that didn't end up happening. Anyway, Chiefs and Patriots. I think that this Chiefs team is about the same caliber as last year's Chiefs team, but I don't think this year's Patriots team is as good as last year's Patriots team. And think about this. The only reason the Patriots won that game last year was by a coin toss. A coin toss won them the game because they got the ball first in overtime. If the Chiefs would have won the coin toss, they would have been going to the Super Bowl, and we would have had a much more entertaining Super Bowl than 13-3. That just shows you that the NFL OT rules are garbage. Please switch it to the college OT rules whenever you want to. Tennessee on 3rd and 6. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, he fights forward. Oh, shoot. Tennessee's going to have a 4th and 1. Indiana might get the ball back unless they go for it. It depends on the spot. Anyway, I think that the Chiefs do not get screwed over this year. I think they win this game in regulation. I think they're a lot... I don't know. I think that they will work on improving. Tyreek Hill was a non-factor last year in that game. I think Hill... Tyreek Hill versus Stephon Gilmore, that will be a hell of a matchup there. I think Tyreek Hill might get the best of him. Stephon Gilmore, though, has scored 2 touchdowns off of 2 pick sixes. He's scored more touchdowns than he's allowed. Hasn't allowed a touchdown all year. That might change against the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill. I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game. Okay, so I may have spoke a little bit too soon. Tennessee actually ended up having to punt. Indiana has 55 seconds, no timeouts. They're down by 1. So, whatever. But, AFC Championship game, Chiefs would have to travel in this scenario to Baltimore to play the Ravens. And I don't know if the Chiefs' defense is up for the task. I might be boring taking both 1 seeds, but I really think that, they're the 2 best teams. I think that the 49ers and Ravens are just head and shoulders above everyone. I really think that Lamar Jackson is the real deal. I knew he would be great coming out of college. Trust me, I did. And I think that the Ravens will be your representative from the AFC in Super Bowl 54. All right, now the Super Bowl matchup. In Miami, the 49ers and Ravens. Now, I think that we saw it so much in last year's playoff. The team who plays better defense will usually and will 99% of the time, especially in a playoff format, win this game. Now, you got Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters and some studs on the Ravens defense, and you've got Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, and some studs on the 49ers defense. They're about even, if you ask me. Jimmy Garoppolo and Lamar Jackson will be dueling at quarterback. Mark Ingram and whoever the Niners decide to run at running back. They got like 4 different running backs that they use. I think that this is going to be a fight for the ages, and I honestly think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. This was such a competitive game when they played in Baltimore. Baltimore won by, I think, a field goal. And I think it's going to come down to the same thing. And I think that Lamar Jackson is just going to make too many plays with his legs near the end of the game for the 49ers to keep up. In a rematch for the Super Bowl in 2013, I think it was. In a rematch of that game, I think that the Ravens will win in the same fashion. I know it's kind of boring picking the favorites, but hey, I really think that the Ravens are definitely going to win. It's not like I picked only the favorites. I picked the Eagles, I picked the Bills, I picked some upsets in there, so I'm not going to go with all chalk. But I do think that the Ravens will be taking this one home. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, and by the way, Tennessee did end up hanging on to beat Indiana. Go Vols!